Hey, what's up YouTube? Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go on a little adventure to Winchester, Virginia to pick up a 2022 Honda Grom. I'm super excited about this because I've never ridden a Grom before. So along the way, I'll just be sharing my general thoughts and first impressions about the 2022 Honda Grom. But I do want to say there are some challenges ahead. Since there's no dealers around me that have Groms in stock right now, the 2022 models, we're driving close to about 100 miles to pick up a Grom. And you know, I want to ride this thing home, but that means I have to ride a Honda Grom for 100 miles. I've never been to Winchester. I don't know what the roads are like up there. I don't even know how the Grom will hold up, but that's the main point of this video. I just want to share that journey with you guys. And two, there's about a 60% chance of rain. So if it rains, it rains. I get rained on. And today is really the only day that I have available to go pick up this thing. So we're going to get out of here in just a little bit. But before we do, I just want to give a huge shout out and say thank you to my friend Tim at Nevermore Moto. You've all seen him in my videos before, but he is coming through in the clutch for me today in my time of need to help pick up my motorcycle and to also caravan with me all the way home. So I just want to give him a huge shout out. Thank you, Tim. You're truly a great friend. If you guys want to know more about Tim and the things that he gets into, go check out his channel below. The link is in the description. I'm excited. Let's get going. Neither Tim or myself have been to Winchester, but we do know that it's in the middle of nowhere. For two city boys like ourselves, that's a call for adventure in and of itself.
Home of three things. Three G's.
You know this?
God, guns, and Groms.
How long did you think about this on the way
It's
here?
off the cuff, man. That's what he said.
Although we both dream about being invited to Harley or Indian to go to Arizona or Joshua Tree and to test out their bikes, we knew that we were going to make the best of this experience. And our first stop was the Tractor Supply to check out all of the amazing things that they have to offer, including these Coleman bikes. Dude, if I was a kid and I got this for Christmas, oh my God.
You dead?
Yeah.
And 196 cc, I'll smoke your ass on the way.
And though these little toys were tempting, we're not here for Coleman bikes. Next stop was the Timbreconda. Now for some of you, this may just be another normal day. But for Tim and I, we both love talking bikes and can appreciate all of the different kinds of bikes.
Thanks, sir.
From Gold Wings to African Twins to Honda Monkeys. All the bikes. Yeah.
In America? I used to rock a Honda.
Same. Turn into a little bobber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, look at all these Ruckuses and Metros on a bike. Oh. Oh, heated seats? Yo,
Is he the seats?
right here. Look at this. It's cool, but
God. What's your company's policy if I want to sit on something?
We can sit on
Okay,
it.
just make sure.
Sit on anything in the store.
Make sure.
Help yourself.
we were like kids in a toy store. And with that green light, and we were off to the races to sit on just about every bike we could get our hands on.
Oh yeah, that seat position's great.
Yeah? Yeah. But enough playing around. I was here on business, and I meant business. The dealership took their time getting this bike ready, but after what seemed like forever, this beast was mine. I was extremely excited for the first inaugural ride. I immediately noticed how light and playful this bike was, coming in at 230 pounds. I'm used to a 700-pound Harley, so maneuvering this bike was comically easy.
How's it feel?
Light?
Okay.
It's impossible to get it in neutral. I've also read about the infamous false neutral, but we'll get more into that later. I'm good to go. He said that it's gonna start smelling like smoke a little bit.
That's just new stuff right now.
Yeah. And just like that, we were on our way to start the next leg of this adventure. The first thing I noticed is the blinking gear shift indicator, which can be helpful, but for me, it was more annoying as it stays on even in 5th gear. The other thing I noticed as I pulled onto the main road is just how severely underpowered the Grom is. I mean, just look at my friend Tim pulling away from me as I tried desperately to keep up. I even tried tucking to see if that would get me any faster. I got up to about 55 miles per hour fully tucked, and I'm at a hefty 185 pounds. But of course, I'm not buying the Grom for its power, and I know that a little more power is easily within reach with a few modifications, so I'm not worried about that. That's easy enough. But finding neutral, that's a whole other story. False neutral is something I've heard about on these new Groms, where it shows neutral on the dash, but it's not really in neutral unless you see the green neutral light, so I had to constantly check. Also, I was pleasantly surprised by the exhaust note. It had a mid-range grunt to it, and though it was quiet, I admit, it definitely could have been a lot worse. Dude. It like tops out, like if I'm standing upright, it tops out at like 50. I have to like tuck it to get to like 55. So I'm like trying to keep up with you. We decided to pull over to the Waffle House to fuel up, and also to give Tim a chance to take the Grom on for a little joyride. Oh my God. We filled up on a bountiful supply of waffles, hash browns, sausages, and gravy. Just the kind of fuel you need for the long journey ahead. After lunch, I wanted to see Tim take the Grom for a spin. Now, it takes a lot of trust to let another man ride your bike, but Tim's the kind of guy you can trust. Just look at him. He's the guy that you call at 3 a.m. in case you end up in county jail to get a ride back home. I was more than happy to let him take it for a spin. All right, it does kick a little bit.
So do I wheelie from the start?
Yeah. Just put it into first, rev it to like 9,000. Neutral's a little funky on this. I was actually genuinely curious to get his thoughts on the Grom too. Being a bigger guy, would he absolutely hate it? Is it too small for him? How would Tim look on a Grom? Maybe he'll end up getting one. Suffice to say, I think he thoroughly enjoyed himself for all of those 2 minutes. That's what she said.
Oh, he's a blast.
It's a fun little bike. After Tim had his fun, it was time to trek the 100 miles to go home, which meant more tucking. On straight roads, I topped out around 55, maybe 60 miles per hour, but it sure did take a long time to get there. But going downhill was exhilarating, as I was able to get close to almost 70. Now, if you live in an area with mostly flat roads, the Grom will be fine on roads with 55 mile per hour speed limits, but we had stretches with hills, and that's where the Grom really struggled. The fifth gear did come in handy though, making cruising a much more pleasant experience without having the engine buzzing or screaming at you. However, I did notice that there's no real power at all in the fifth gear, and many times going uphill, I would downshift to fourth gear to try to keep within the power band, and I still kept dropping speed. Cars were whizzing past me, respectfully though, so I was grateful for that no one honked at me and tried to run me off the road. Thankfully, Tim pulled off to some back roads so I could test out the Grom on some twisties, so we turned into a local road. But I'm so used to riding a Harley with canceling turn signals that I often forgot to turn it off on the Grom. Luckily, Tim reminded me with some hand signals. He would do this about 10 times on our ride back home. No joke. Thanks, Tim. Now with the back roads and twisties, this is where the Grom really shines. These narrow roads mean nothing for the Grom. I had plenty of space to pick my lanes. The small tires handled the rougher roads really well, and the suspension was surprisingly adequate. I had an absolute blast on these roads on the Grom, and I can see why people love these little things. I feel like the twisties just opened up that much more because there's more space to work with on a Grom, and you can take tighter turns with much more ease. The combination of its lightweight nature just invites a more playful style of riding, and knowing that if we end up on treacherous terrain, the Grom is so much more easier to maneuver than my Lowrider S. And yes, we did end up on some treacherous terrain. We ended up on gravel roads. Thanks, Tim. Somehow we ended up on gravel roads for a good stretch, and other than getting literally crop dusted by Tim's truck, the Grom surprisingly did a great job on gravel even with its stock tires. Not once did I feel a slip, and even if I did, I could easily just put my feet down and catch myself. If I was on my much bigger, more expensive Lowrider S, I'd be stressed out about making sure I don't damage the Harley, but the Grom, I felt unbothered. If I go down, I know I can pick it up in a matter of seconds, and that freedom of mind just really allowed me to enjoy myself and my surroundings, even if there was a cloud of dust at times. I found myself laughing hysterically at times because the Grom just completely eliminated any stress on these types of roads. And for that reason, I was just being myself and having a blast. Even when riding through towns, people smile and wave at you, and I even got a couple of thumbs up from these guys working construction. The Grom is just an approachable bike in all sorts of ways. After some time, we were able to merge back onto the main roads, and at that point, I checked my fuel gauge. We've been riding for about an hour, and I noticed that I had dropped only a bar on the fuel meter. I was thrilled to see that the Grom was getting about 120 miles per gallon fuel economy, which means that on this 1.5 gallon tank, I could get almost as much range as I do on my 5 gallon Lowrider S. This Grom just sips on gas, which can be really amazing when gas prices are high. During the 100-mile ride home, I was still comfortable for much of the ride. The stock seat did a great job on giving me just enough cushion and firmness, and because the seat is flat and long, I could readjust myself when I needed to. I found that the braking power was good, not great on the Grom, but it did its job. I do wish it had a little bit more bite, since on long stretches of road, I like to try to maintain my momentum, and I don't always keep a safe distance behind vehicles, but that's just me. Alright guys, so I obviously made it back home, safe and sound. The Grom is in my garage along with my Lowrider S, looking so beautiful, looking so nice. I'm super excited about it. This 100-mile Grom adventure was just such a fun and memorable experience for me. I love that I was able to put the Grom through real life scenarios, through back roads, through major roads. I was really able to experience all the things that the Grom has to offer. So I've had some time to just collect my thoughts, and I thought I'd share some parting thoughts with you all about the Honda Grom. Now, most of the features on a Honda Grom are adequate given the circumstances, right? 125 cc's provides just enough power for putting it around town, and the suspension is adequate, the braking is adequate. Those aren't the features that's necessarily going to sell the Grom, obviously, but I did find that the brakes and suspension are fine for just, the everyday use. And all of these things are begging to be modified to the user's tastes and the user's wants and desires. That's just the total beauty of this Grom. And it's worth noting that it does have a little bit more grunt, a little bit more power than the previous generation Grom, the SF Grom. So I'll take whatever help I can get in that department, right? Also, with the addition of the 5th gear, the newly designed seat, the upgraded fuel economy, just really makes this Grom appealing for a lot of different purposes, a lot of different rides, just various types of riding that you want to put it through. I'm really looking forward to modding out this Grom, giving it more power, maybe modding it for off-roading purposes, what have you, maybe some dirt tires, who knows. I love the fact that this Grom just offers a very unique riding experience that just isn't offered in bigger bikes. I was just focused on having fun, enjoying the ride, enjoying the experience, enjoying my surroundings. And really that's what motorcycling is all about, at least for me. Thanks for sticking with me to this point of the video. We'll have more Grom content for you guys in the future. And those of you in my Harley community, my Harley family, fear not, because we'll have more Harley content coming your way. All right, I'm gonna skate out of here. Thank you, and until next time, peace.